The kitten in the corner of the carrier was not being difficult, it was being honest. Every hiss, every swipe, every desperate attempt to make itself look larger and more dangerous than a 12-week-old animal can realistically manage. All of it was honest communication from a nervous system that had learned, through every experience available to it in the first weeks of its life, that proximity to humans preceded pain, threat, or loss. The feral kitten does not hate you. It does not know you well enough to hate you. What it knows is that the category of creature you belong to has never given it a reason to feel safe. And the transformation from that starting point, from an animal that experiences human presence as a threat signal, to one that seeks human contact voluntarily, that chooses your lap over every other available surface, that purrs at the specific sound of your voice, that transformation is not a training achievement. It is the gradual, patient, irreversible rebuilding of a nervous system's foundational assumption about what humans are. Most people who bring a feral or semi-feral kitten home make the same well-intentioned mistake in the first 48 hours. They want to help. They want to comfort. They want to demonstrate, as quickly as possible, that this animal's fear is unfounded and that the home it has arrived in is safe. So they approach. They offer their hand. They attempt physical contact because physical contact is how humans communicate safety and affection. And they cannot imagine that the very gesture they are using to say you are safe is being received as confirmation of everything the animal feared about this situation. The feral kitten does not interpret an outstretched hand as an offer. It interprets it as the first movement in a sequence it has learned to associate with capture, restraint, or harm. The approach that feels like reassurance is producing the exact physiological stress response you are trying to prevent. And the more you pursue the contact, the more the animal's nervous system confirms its existing model. That humans approach, animals cannot escape, bad things follow. The first intervention is the one that requires the most discipline from the human and produces the most significant neurological change in the animal: structured isolation with no pursuit. A single room, smaller than a bedroom, with consistent food, water, a litter box, and a hiding space the kitten can access but you cannot reach into. You enter the room on a schedule. You sit on the floor, not standing, not looming, not reaching, and you exist in the space. You do not look directly at the kitten, you do not move toward it, you read, you work, you exist at floor level in the same environment, and you leave. This continues for as many days as necessary for the kitten to begin shortening the distance between itself and your location during your visits. Not because you moved toward it, but because you stopped confirming that moving toward you had consequences. The absence of threat, repeated consistently, is the first piece of evidence the nervous system can use to begin revising its foundational assumption. It cannot be rushed, it cannot be abbreviated. Every time you reach toward a kitten that has not approached you, you reset the counter on the evidence the nervous system is accumulating. Food is the most powerful tool in the socialization toolkit, not because it bribes the animal into tolerating contact, but because it creates a specific neurological association that operates below the conscious level of fear. The amygdala, the brain structure responsible for the fear response, is in constant communication with the reward circuitry that responds to food. When a meal-sized amount of a high-value food is delivered consistently at close proximity to your presence, the reward signal generated by feeding begins to associate with the proximity stimulus that preceded it. You become a predictor of something the nervous system values more than the fear response costs. This does not happen in one session. It happens across 15, 20, 30 sessions of consistent, predictable food delivery at progressively reduced distances. Starting at the far end of the room and moving the dish 1 foot closer each day until the dish is close enough that the kitten is eating within arm's reach while you sit completely still. The first time this happens, the kitten will eat with its body angled away from you, ready to flee at the first movement. That is not failure. That is evidence that the association is forming, that the reward signal is beginning to outcompete the fear signal, and that the next session will be slightly easier than this one. The first voluntary contact is the milestone that every person who has rehabilitated a feral kitten describes with the same quality of surprise. Not because they did not believe it would happen, but because when it happens, it feels completely different from anything that could have been produced by pursuit. A kitten that has decided, based on its own accumulated evidence, that your hand is safe to approach will touch its nose to your fingers with a specificity and intentionality that is unmistakable. It is not an accident. It is not a miscalculation about the distance between you. It is a deliberate investigation conducted by an animal whose nervous system has revised its threat assessment sufficiently to permit the inquiry. You will feel it as a barely there pressure, warmer than you expected, lasting less than a second before the kitten steps back to assess the consequences. The correct response is nothing. No movement, no sound, no attempt to follow up with a petting that feels like the obvious next step. The kitten contacted you. The kitten retreated. The kitten assessed the consequence and found that the consequence was nothing threatening. That assessment goes into the nervous system's accumulated evidence. The next voluntary contact will be slightly longer. The one after that, slightly more exploratory. The progression is not linear and it is not fast, but once it has begun, it is self-sustaining. Because each contact that produces no threat response makes the next contact more likely, and the compounding of those experiences is what transforms the feral kitten's relationship with human touch from threat to preference. The purr is misunderstood by most people who have not spent time with cats in rehabilitation. It is not exclusively a sound of contentment. Cats purr during stress, during illness, during labor, and during recovery from injury, because the purr is a self-soothing vibration that the feline nervous system uses to regulate its own emotional state, rather than purely to signal happiness to an observer. The purr that a feral kitten produces during early socialization contact is not necessarily contentment. It may be the nervous system attempting to regulate the anxiety of a proximity it is not yet fully comfortable with. The purr that arrives later, unprompted, when the kitten seeks you out and settles against your leg without any food present, without any structured session, without any stimulus beyond your presence, that purr is different. You will know the difference when you hear it. It has a quality of relaxation in the body producing it that the regulatory purr does not. And the first time you hear it, you will understand that what you have spent the past weeks building is not a trained behavior. It is a relationship, built from nothing but patience, predictability, and the repeated demonstration that you would not pursue what had not yet chosen to come to you. The timeline for this transformation is not fixed. It depends on the age at which the kitten was captured. Younger than 8 weeks produces the most complete socialization outcomes. But kittens captured between 8 and 16 weeks, which is the more common window for feral rescue, can achieve full socialization with consistent effort over 6 to 12 weeks. It depends on the individual animal's temperament, which varies within the feral population as much as it does within any population of animals. It depends on the consistency of the human. Not the warmth, not the desire, not the love that motivates the effort, but the behavioral consistency that the kitten's nervous system is actually using as its data. A human who is endlessly patient on most days and occasionally frustrated into reaching for the kitten before it is ready sets back weeks of progress in a single interaction. Because the threat confirmation produced by that one interaction is neurologically more powerful than the safety evidence accumulated across the quiet sessions preceding it. The transformation from feral kitten to loving home pet is not a story about the kitten learning to trust humans. It is a story about a human learning to communicate in a language that an animal built entirely for survival can actually hear. The language of predictability, of stillness, of proximity offered without demand, of patience maintained not as a technique, but as a genuine expression of respect for the pace at which another nervous system can revise its foundational assumptions about the world. The kitten does not change because you wanted it to. It changes because you gave it enough repeated evidence to change itself. And the morning it climbs onto your lap without invitation, circles twice, and falls asleep against your leg, you will know that no moment of impatience was worth the delay it would have caused. Every quiet session was exactly what was needed, and the animal purring against you chose you as deliberately as any choice an animal has ever made. Pets Care and Love Channel, socializing your feline friend with patience and love.